Hello, I'm Miami Autism Dad Victor Antunez, the Inclusive Mind Realtor, and this is the Autism Podcast at Miami's Community Newspapers. Today I'm with Nick Maccarrone. You are the Clinical and Executive Director of the Social Cog, and Joshua Davis, you are a founding member of the Social Cog. So
Yes.
since I'm talking to you, Joshua, tell me what the Social Cog is.
It's for so when I was younger, I had a lot of social issues, and so my mom made a program for me. So I'm a founding member, and it feels very special and awesome. And
How many years ago was it founded, Josh?
oh,
Do you remember, Nick?
I do.
Okay, tell me. How many years ago
That
was
might
it
be
founded?
hard for you.
Yeah.
It's so long ago you were a kid. It was 2012 was when Natalie and I got together. And
Time passes.
It
Past
really-
14 years ago. So you said you're 34. So you were
Yeah.
20. A kid.
yeah.
Yeah, super young. Cool. So you come in here with a big smile on your face. So I can tell that you're just like, you're enjoying life and you're enjoying very much the Social Cog. Yeah. So Nick, what got you to found the Social Cog?
So I'm a licensed psychologist. I work in private practice and I specialize in people with autism. Even getting into autism was sort of backed into. I didn't specialize on this in school, but in the early 2000s when the diagnosis really exploded and we're really starting to identify more people with ASD, it became part of my practice heavily. And I started working with people with autism and really found that to be my groove. I mean, it was like I really connected well with them. I really seemed to understand folks with ASD very well. And I think I feel like a lot of people that end up in the field say that it's like they meet somebody with ASD for the first time, or they work with somebody for the first time, and they really feel this connection that is just different. And so that got me started on it. And then so I was seeing kids and adolescents through the early 2000s, of course, when the diagnosis was exploding and services were coming into play. And then gradually, of course, as we were rushing to catch up on the services with kids, our kids were getting older and starting to get up towards, adulthood, 18. And once that happens, especially back then, there was this service cliff where they would they would age out of their services. And once that happened and they were out of their high schools and into, the real world, the structure's gone, the ability to connect with people through just the structure of high school was just gone. And I had at that time on my caseload a couple of guys that like I had been working with for a while who were really going through it. They were very depressed. They were struggling. They wanted friends and they couldn't make friends. They couldn't do it. There was no services available for them to apply the social skills that they had learned over the course of their lives to a group.
Or had learned.
Or had not learned, right, exactly, the things that they struggled with. But the ability to apply that in a group where it was safe to do it, there were meetup groups in the community for folks with autism, and that would be once a month, and they would go and then they disperse. And to your point, not addressing the fact that the people that are struggling with those social skills sometimes don't think of doing the things that need to be done in order to really truly create connection. And so Natalie, Josh's mom, came to me and said, listen, Josh needs something. He's sitting at home. I knew this. He's sitting at home. He's playing video games. He's trying to reach out to people and make friends, and it's not working. He doesn't need a social skills group. He's been trained on the social skills. He needs a community where he can apply this and connect with people that are like him, that think like him and have his interests the way that he does. I mean, this guy could tell you everything and anything about the Miami Heat. I mean, like he's a stat geek, and like we would geek out on that stuff, and he needed guys that were like that he's going to be able to connect with. And she said, so where is that?
14 years ago, it didn't exist.
It didn't exist. And
even now, there are some social clubs that I know of, but they're a handful, literally in a county of 3 million people.
Correct. Yeah. And back then it was nothing. There was meetup groups, and there was nothing that combined the three elements that the Social Cog does, which is the accepting peer group, social coaching, and shared social and emotional experiences. And so Natalie looked at me and said, well, why don't we make it? And I had in my mind then that I've got like 5 guys on my caseload that need this, that I don't have a way of connecting them. And so that was sort of the genesis of it. Was we started talking about it, and Natalie did the fundraising part of it. We made it a nonprofit, and she did the fundraising part of it, and I developed the clinical part of it based on doing a little bit of research of whatever was out there, which was very little, and just my own knowledge about what it takes, like what I thought guys like Joshua needed.
And gals also. This is a mixed gender. Yes.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I mean, as with autism, it's often heavily male.
Yes.
It's just the nature of the thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned depression, and this is a big thing. And as a psychologist that deaths of despair are way up.
Sure.
Is this across the spectrum, or is it just neurotypical kids? Is it neurodivergent kids? Is it more with neurodivergent kids?
The research shows it's much more with neurodivergent kids.
Like how much more?
I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's something like in the 50s or 60s.
Right.
It's really, really high. Where like there's just a tendency towards mental health issues just because of a lot of the things they struggle with. First off, there's a harder time with dealing with everyday stressors.
Yes.
People with ASD report that they struggle with things that are what would be considered typical stressors. Their experience of distress from those is much higher than neurotypical people report. And then they also don't have the support to go with this and the coping skills to deal with it. And so that combination of things really makes the experience of mental health issues much, much higher for them. And one of the things that we've seen with this is that having a really good social support system, having a sense of belonging, having a sense of connectedness, knowing that you have friends that are there. I mean, it seems obvious, but the research, the research bornes out. It's that is very, it's very connected to a reduction in the mental health issues. The people that have that are much lower risk for anxiety, depression, suicidality, things like that.
Right. So I'm just an autism dad, so we're going to the deep end of the pool here. But so parents who are listening know that you are really qualified to talk about this. You have a PhD in what?
Clinical psychology, Psy.D.
Okay.
Clinical psychology.
Right. So you're more than qualified to talk about this. Because, a lot of times people would just talk about stuff like dads, whatever, but, who are we to be talking really serious subjects like this?
Listen, like you're in the trenches. So I mean, it's like there's a little bit of, you have some expertise that I don't have too. Yeah, right.
So a mom or a dad comes to you, their kid's on the cliff, depressed, the parents are worried. Where do you start?
So we do an interview with them for if they're coming for Social Cog, then the first thing that we'll do is we'll meet with them and talk to them to make sure that they're a good fit. One of the things that we always say for Social Cog is that one of the requirements is you got to want to have friends. Now historically it's been the myth was that people with autism don't want friends.
They didn't care. They're not there. They're checked out. Yeah,
they're checked out. They're like they're not interested. They avoid social interactions because they don't find fulfillment from them. And what we found was that's not really what was going on, as I'm sure you know. It was more that the lack of success in those situations, the continued failures over and over again become painful, and we avoid things that are painful. Mm-hmm. So you're observing people that are choosing to avoid social situations. You're making the interpretation that it's because they don't want it.
But it's a lack of success. Yes, of course. And we avoid pain.
That's right. An anticipation that it's not going to work. So why am I going to keep doing it if it's not going to work when I could just play my video games and those don't make fun of me for making social mistakes? So we're talking to people when parents come in. The first thing that I'm talking about is okay. So I want to make sure that your son or daughter wants friends.
But they might say, I don't want, but you got to get past that. Because we were all kids and like your parents wanted to force you to do stuff that you really wanted to do.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, like, I don't want to do that. But
correct.
You just wish your parents would have forced you.
Sometimes, yeah. And so one of the things that will happen is I'll meet with the individual and then I speak to them about whether they want friends. And if I can present the program in a way where they tell me that they want friends, then great, we're bringing them in. But one of the things that we have to do for the program is one of our 3 cogs is the accepting peer group. And the reason that I could say that it's an accepting peer group is look, I can't promise you that every person that's coming to our program is going to make friends with every other person that's there. Just like anybody else, some people are going to be friends with some people, and some people are just not. That's not your cup of tea.
That's normal.
The only thing I can promise you is that every single person that's in our group has endorsed that they want to be there and that they want friends. So you're going to be talking to people, other people that at least they've said that I'm interested in the same thing as you, which is very different than like if you go to a library or a bar or something like that, a Starbucks, and walk up to some stranger to talk to. You don't know what they're there for. You don't, like, there's a high chance of rejection there. But at least in this situation, everybody there is looking to make friends. So that's part of the thing where I'll ask. I want to get them on board, and sometimes they'll say no, and they stand their ground on it. And they're like, I don't even know why I'm here, and I have to tell the parents, look, I don't think they're ready for this yet. But I think that if they were, like, he's a really good fit. The levels of interest I can see. Like, one of the things that I'm looking for is, like, if I can see a straight line between the person that's in front of me and at least one other person in our group, and they want to make friends, then I'm going to make that work. That's the way that's going to go.
Great.
So
Josh, you're 34 now.
Yes.
You were 20 when this all started.
Yes.
So at 20, you're not a kid, you're an adult, but you're still kind of a kid. I mean, when we're 20, we're kind of kids. Did you want to make friends?
Yes.
Did you have friends? Like, how was your life before the COG?
So it was just school. And the school I went to had.
Where'd you go to school?
Kesher.
I know Kesher. Okay, by name anyways. Okay, cool. Good school.
And back then they had a social group.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really like the best.
Why was it not the best?
I think there wasn't focus on what the Social Cog focuses on. It was more of like, okay, we're gonna get a bunch of people together, and some of them were from the school, and then we're gonna do certain things and hang out and have fun. But from my perspective, I'm sitting there and I'm like, this seems nice, but a lot of those people that were there were lower functioning.
Okay.
So I'm sitting, trying to make friends with these people that are lower functioning, and their abilities were different than what my abilities were at the time. And so that was I had struggled with that for a while, because I had also, in that same school, I had also, some of the students were also lower functioning. It wasn't one or the other. It was a mix.
So Josh mentions the focus was different. What is the focus at the Social Cog?
So our primary goal is for our members to make friends. So that's different than, like, in my private practice, we have social skills groups that we run. We've been running a social skills program there for over 20 years. And so that's really important. It's an important piece to teach the mechanics of socializing. The Social Cog, we do teach social skills as we go along as part of our social coaching, but our primary goal isn't teaching social skills. It's that you're going to come into our program and you're going to connect with people, where you're going to develop relationships with people that are going to progress and develop into real friendships where you have your own social life. We always tell our guys,
independent of the Social Cog. That's
correct.
Awesome.
That's what we're always pushing our people to do. So we bring them in, and for the social coaching, what we do is they'll meet with their social coach, who's identifying where the obstacles are, like what's going on with this person that really wants to make friends, that's making it so that they can't. and help them to overcome that, whatever that is, whatever they need, be it anxiety, if there are some lacking social skills, if they're hesitant to try things because of the things that we were talking about earlier of like rejection, if there's whatever it is that they're having a hard time with, this, the social coach helps them identify it and then to overcome it. And we're very also intentional about what we're doing in the sense that like I meet with all of the coaches once a week. We do supervision and talk about all of our members and what's going on with them. And we plan for who we think is going to be a good fit. And I think part of what Josh is talking about with the groups that were previously there that do this is there's this missing component of really connecting this piece where, you know, it's nice to be able to get everybody together to have a good time. But if we're acknowledging that these are people that are struggling, they're reporting struggling with making friends, to put them into a group together and then say, you know, good luck afterwards, it didn't make sense to me. That was the part that didn't make sense. And so when Natalie came to me with this idea of this, it was like, this seemed like a really good idea of really connecting the dots of the things that we had in the community that was just missing like a synergy that needed to happen in order to make this work. And so with the coaching, our coaches are pushing our guys and gals to connect with other people within the program. So we have outings once a month in the community that are like our fun things that we do, like bowling, rock climbing. Joshua's sibling did a improv comedy class. We come up with like, we're constantly trying to come up with fun, cool things for these guys to do. I mean, it's like you got to make
every month. Like it's hard.
It's hard. Eventually,
we go to ChatGPT. Hey, what can we do this month?
100%. And so we do that, and our outings are the point of the outings is for our members to meet each other and to start the process of connecting, so they've got a shared social experience that they can at least have the grounds to talk about. And so then in between the outings, our coaches are trying to get our members to connect with one another based on who we think personality-wise and interest-wise is going to be a good fit for each other. So we're always talking about that and planning that. Like for example, when we do our bowling outing, like we sit and talk about the teams. Like it's something, you know, think about it. It's like we don't let them pick their teams. Like we're thinking like I'm trying to get Josh to talk with Billy, because I think that they're gonna hit it off because they both really love the Miami Heat, and they're going to talk about the latest and greatest with what's going on with the Heat and love the conversation with each other. Versus my guys that are like super into anime, they're going to be talking about like all the stuff that's going on with the Comic Cons and the anime stuff and all of that. And we're trying to put those guys together to because we think that they're going to be the best fit. And so it's all very thought out like that. And then in between, the coaches are teaching them to do things like get a phone number when you're at the outing. Did you get the person's contact information? Did you get their socials? Some way that from the outing, you're going to be able to connect with them in between, because we remind them over and over again, your goal is not to come to the outings to have a good time. I mean, that's part of it. We want that, obviously, but that's not our goal. Our end goal is we want you to have friends. We want you to have your own friends. Now, these guys are posting pictures on Facebook of 8 or 9 of them getting together, you know, for somebody's birthday or for something. And we didn't organize that. It's like I just see it when they do it, because they have learned the process of this. They've got their group of people that they know who to reach out to when Spider-Man comes out, and they're all going to get together and take a picture at the movies, you know, doing the web shooting and stuff like this. It's amazing to be able to see that from their progress in the program. I mean, it's like, he had no friends.
Right.
He's, you know.
Now, Josh mentioned at Kesher being paired up with lower functioning kids,
Mm-hmm.
and fair enough. So I want to put things in perspective to ourselves. So we were neurotypical. And when we were kids in high school, you had the computer nerds, you had the jocks, you had all these different groups, and you kind of tend to gravitate to like your group.
Sure.
Now myself, intelligence-wise, I'm like right in the middle. Okay. So, you know, my friends were like mostly kids who were right in the middle.
Yeah.
Now I had some friends who were brilliant. I had some who were not so much, but for the most part, like 80% of my friend group, or 90, was right here.
Right.
So, and it's no different with kids who are autistic. And I have a friend, she's got 2 boys who are, one is higher functioning, one is not so much. The one who's higher functioning, he told his mom was telling me that he wants friends, but not like himself.
That's right.
So how do you maneuver that?
It's really tricky because it's like, you're trying to be kind and sensitive, but at the same time, Victor, it's exactly what you just said. Like, people tend to gravitate towards the people that are like them, and it's just the way that it goes. So, so in terms of level of functioning, that's always been it's a trick. That's the hardest thing when people ask me, like,
Sure.
what's the criteria, and there's a little bit of a feel to that, of like that. I feel like this is going to be a good fit to the group. They have to be independently functioning. At least they have to be able to come to the outings and not have an aid, or like not have a fear of
an
like,
RBT.
right?
Okay.
Like because we want the outings to be as organic as possible. Like, these are like, we don't let parents come to the outings. We want our guys getting together and having a good time in an activity where it feels as non-clinical as possible. Natalie and I really talked about this in the beginning of how we wanted this to look. Natalie, Josh's mom. And part of the thing that we really wanted to do was make it so that we're pushing as much independence as possible, and that our guys are feeling like when they go to the outings, they're not coming to my office, for example, for a group therapy. They're coming someplace where they just get to feel like adults that are having fun with their friends. And so, so part of that was defining, what is our group going to look like? Because Josh's experience there and your friend's son's experience was, we were hearing that all the time. That was one of the questions I would get most often in my intakes was, what's the group look like? What do they look like? And I know what they're asking. And so we try to keep it to a certain range, just so that it's good as a fit, so that they're going to have the same interests and same communication levels and everything like that. But it is very tricky. It's hard to do that. Now, with our higher functioning guys, like what you're talking about, it can be it can be tricky on that end too, because they don't want to be, their experience with things is like they don't want to be with the lower functioning people. But a lot of times when they get to the group, they'll see that there's a range of that. But if we're connecting them with somebody that, if I can see it and I can connect them with somebody that, we have people that are like going for their masters and that are doing their thing. And if I can see a line there and connect them, a lot of times the hesitation that they'll come in with, it really melts away when they start to see how much fun the group is having and how connected the people are and everything like that. So, so it's a little bit of a process, but we've gotten pretty good at getting that to work.
I'm just curious. Can you have you ever had people that are higher functioning but too high functioning? Where like, hey, okay, you've got social anxieties, but this really isn't for you. Does that ever happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's like like really at the end of the day, it's I have to be able to see that like this person's going to be able to connect with at least one other person here. If they really want friends and they're saying that they really want to give it a shot, and I really think that they're going to, I'm more likely to give that person, just tell them to give it a shot. And let's be honest as we're going through. And if this is going to fit for you and it's going to work, great. And if it isn't, it's not for everybody. Mm-hmm. We say this all the time with our members, that like being in Social Cog is a choice. You want to make friends, you want to be doing this. Awesome. We're here to help you. If you don't, if it's not a good fit, that's okay too. And we're not going to force anybody to do this. So we try to be honest in that way and get people to be, to evaluate it, because I also don't want somebody to miss out on an opportunity because they think that they're not going to be a good fit to the group. And, I've just had that happen a bunch of times where somebody's really hesitant about coming because they just don't think it's going to be a good fit. Then they come in and see that like they didn't have as much to worry about as they thought. That's
great. And these are all adults, ages
18 to, I think, this is 56. So we're like across the age span. It's basically if you're interested in making friends, and it's not just people with autism. We talk about autism all the time. I don't even ask for a diagnosis when they come in. It's just people that are struggling with making friends, that have some sort of challenges. And if that's the case, and you really want to make friends, and I think that I could see a straight line between you and somebody else, we'll make it work.
This makes me think about this one guy I met. He's in his early 20s and his brother's 18, and he's higher functioning autistic adult, but he needs help. And he made friends with a man who's in his 40s. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I was like, it might be just fine, but it might be worrisome also, because like I'm 56. If I go make friends with an 18-year-old, there could be So like, how do you, for parents who are watching this and they think, okay, you've got, well, he's too old already, but because he's a big boy, but you got like a 20-year-old and you've got maybe some guys in their 50s and then they start being friends outside. There could be, you know, like, so how do you like make a parent like not worry about that?
We've had that happen before. We've had like, it's especially when it's like 18 or 19, just out of high school and, you know, like vulnerable. I mean, the reality is that like that the parents are not being paranoid. It's like, they know that there's social challenges, that there's,
on top of the age, there's a social, there's extra.
There's extra. Like, it's like that there's extra vulnerability to that. And so the reassurance that we give is that like, that, I mean, one of the requirements of the program also is that like, that you got to be safe to the program. I mean, like,
do you do background checks?
We don't do background checks, but we have eyes on everything. And if people are like,
you can tell.
Like once people start getting engaged, you could tell if there's like look, socially inappropriate behavior. It's
after a few meetings.
Okay, so like we could tolerate that, but like if it's too inappropriate to deal with, or if it's like something that's definitely no violence, definitely no, like if there's any kind of aggression or anything like that, we don't take that unless it can be handled. Like, people get angry and everything like that, that's fine. People yell, and that we can work on social skills with that. And so but to keep it safe, we really keep an eye on that. And if we start to see things where like people are being inappropriate, like with like being overly sexual or overly like, then we're going to work with them on the effect that that's having on their reputation in the group, and that these are the expectations, and that if they can't meet these expectations, they can't be in the group, for the exact reason that you said and what I had said earlier, which is I can promise a safe place. Like I can promise you that you come to the group. I can't promise you're going to make friends with everybody, but I can promise that everybody that you're going to talk to is somebody that's looking to make friends, and that is going to be safe. So in that regard, if a 34-year-old is talking to a 20-year-old, that's
okay.
It ends up being okay, because there's a lot of times there's like still a lot of commonality, and like
but 20 and 56, like that might be.
It's tricky to convince somebody that, you know. So, but that's the way we do it.
Yeah. So Josh, you guys get together once a month, but you've made friends outside of the group.
Yes.
So how does that work?
So basically, in my experience, I've taken what I've learned. So like the social skills that I've learned from when I was younger, plus the ones that I've sort of worked on being the social cog, and I've applied that to work.
Where do you work?
I work at the Miami Heat.
Oh, okay, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is nice.
Best job ever.
I sort and deliver packages all day.
Awesome, man. Good. Do you get to meet the players at all?
Yes.
So cool.
In passing. But not really allowed to be like, hey, can I have an autograph?
Yeah, of course. They got a job to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And also it gives me like more independence, like learning to drive.
I was going to ask you that. So you do drive?
Yes.
Okay. At what age did you start to learn how to drive? But it's been a while.
Yeah.
Around 20.
Around 20.
It was after the program.
Oh, good for you. And
for sure.
There's like the blue card program and different things like that, or the autism occupant decal. Do you have all that stuff on your car?
I don't have an autism decal on my car. I have a blue card that, like, if I ever do get pulled over by...
Have you been pulled over?
Yes.
And you just show them the card and everything went good?
I have it with me, but in the situation where I was pulled over, I didn't feel like I needed to use it.
Okay.
But I have it. I always carry it with me.
Awesome.
In case there's a situation where I feel very uncomfortable and I have to take it out.
And I love that, by the way, that you didn't use it in that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That he used the judgment that a
lot of agency there.
Yes, 100%. And I think it speaks to his independence that he could navigate a traffic stop like that. And
yes, without the card.
Without freaking out.
But it's there if you need it.
If you need it, right.
I met a guy. He's like my age. He's autistic, and his aspect he looks intoxicated. And he told me when he was younger, he got pulled over. They pulled him out of the car. They're going to do the breathalyzer, walk the line, because he just looks like he's intoxicated. But it's just the way he looks.
His affect, yeah.
But now with this blue card, like that doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. That's a great example of where it's necessary.
Yeah.
I mean,
so let me ask you, Josh, you don't have the decal. Is that a conscious choice, or you just haven't gotten around to it?
First off, I didn't know that they existed.
Yeah, you go to Miami-Dade County website, just put an occupant with autism decal, it'll come up. Like, I'm not autistic, but my daughter is, and I've got 2 decals on my car. So yeah, it's free.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you definitely get that. You can also get one from your house. You can put on your front door. So these are just programs that are out there that they're all free, you know, and it might be something you can just offer them, like, hey, next to the Zoom, like, hey, you know, you do this. And
it's great cool,
like with these decals you use at your house, there's a registry, which is optional. You don't have to register. But if you do register, you tell them, you know, all the conditions. So a cop shows up, they see the house, they can look it up. They know already what they're getting into. Or you can just put the decal on your car in your house and not register. So because some people have like privacy concerns.
Sure.
So it's a trade-off.
Right.
But yeah, so the decals work for me. Like I've been pulled over and like I would have got a ticket, but because okay, I got an autistic daughter, you know.
I love it.
So this time I'm not gonna give you a ticket, but next time it got me out of that. So you might get it just for that, man.
Yeah. It's like those ones that they have like where it's you have somebody that's on the police force in your family. It's like a get out of jail free card.
Well, I also have the sheriff's thing on the license plate.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. $100 a year, whatever it is, that's get you a lot of stuff. Yeah. So you should really consider getting the decal for your car, because you know when a cop he sees that, he meets you, he might not have had really good training and just not knows what he's getting into. You know, because I mean some terrible things have happened. We've all seen that. Yeah. So you know, an ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure. Yeah. Sure. So listen, we are at the 30-minute mark. I got 2 last questions I want to ask you guys before we wrap it up. Okay.
Go.
And by the way, I didn't use my questions at all. So great conversation, man. But I do have 2 last questions that I have.
I mean, you get me talking about Social Cog. Everybody knows. Anybody who knows me, it's like, you know, I could do this for an hour, but they don't let me. But I'd love to go for an hour. But I love it.
That's what it is. All right. So Nick, one word you'd ban from conversations about autism.
One word I ban from conversations about autism.
Or phrase or sentence or thought.
I think it's more thought. It's more that I feel like I think Josh is a great example of the way that I think about autism, in that we understand that there's cognitive and limitations that go on with autism. You have this condition, but we're always pushing for independence. We're always pushing for how independent can we get the person to be, and that's different for different people. But I feel like a lot of times what happens is parents, especially very well-meaning parents, are just scared because of the experience of like failures and struggles, and then in an attempt to protect, they limit them.
Yes,
and
it happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
Yes.
And my thing is always, why don't we find a ceiling, and something that has been defined as a ceiling, and I like to push on it and see, you know, if there's something above there. Like maybe we can get a little higher than that ceiling right there. Maybe that looks like a ceiling, but that's not really our ceiling. That we can get higher. And if we find the final ceiling, great. Okay, then we know where we're at. But like more times than not, I find that, you know, Josh was very scared to drive when he started driving, and that was not going to be a reason to not drive, because we're all scared to drive of
something.
Yeah, and driving is like you're afraid when you're driving. It's normal, but just because he has a diagnosis, like I knew he was going to be able to drive. Like I'm looking at him going, of course he's going to be able to drive. He'll figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really I really encourage people to push limits when it comes to autism. Don't set limits that are too hard.
You know, one thing that I would change, I'm trying to figure out how to put it, is that I've had people well-meaning but well-intentioned but misguided people talking about people with IDD. They're just like us, but no, some people need a little bit of help.
Sure.
And with that little bit of help, they can lead really normal lives.
Correct.
But this whole idea that they're just like us but different abilities, no, we're all different. And some people just need that extra help. right? To get past some social anxieties of driving, whatever it may be with friends, and you give them that extra help, and then they can live really good lives.
Right. And if you don't, then the stigma can end up holding people from getting whatever things that they need that would have allowed them to live that really nice life. And it's just like, why do that, right? Like, it's like, why not just acknowledge that there's there's just differences. Like, it's okay. Like, it's like, like we're all different,
help,
quirky, and weird, and doing like things that we need help with and everything like that.
That's right. Okay, so Josh, last questions on you. No pressure, okay? All right. So Josh, hardest social skill you ever had to learn?
I would say ones that are silently there.
Well, give me one example.
Like nonverbal cues.
Okay.
When I was growing up, those were very, very hard for me.
There's actually a Star Trek episode where this like really advanced like race, like super, like they're just geniuses. They make us look like just like we're all dumb, but they couldn't tell any kind of social cues.
Right.
And then the crew of the Star Trek, whatever it was called, the ship, just ran circles around them, like winking at each other.
Right. Like Spock was like that. Like, it's like,
yeah, Spock. Yeah.
Right. The Vulcans.
Cool. Yeah. So it's like the nonverbal is a big deal. Yeah. Cool. Great, man. Well, thank you for your honesty, Josh. Thank you for coming here.
You're welcome.
You got a really great energy, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. He's good people.
Yeah. Nick, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Us.
We'll come back in a year or so. We'll do it again, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's turn to that camera right there and we'll sign off. So this has been the Autism Podcast at Miami's Community Newspapers with Josh and Nick from the Social Cog. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.